or operations that are beginning to come in the background, because these people sneak in first by social media, and then they begin to create their own platforms. And how do they spread? Word of mouth, referral. They refer, one person does it over a few months, and they see that, look, this is profitable, not knowing that there's a Ponzi in the offing, and then they introduce more people and more people and more people, and it grows. Eventually, what you have is people losing their shirts because of those Ponzis that have grown overnight. Now, so I think I've mentioned a lot of the points that I have here. I think I would let it rest, and we can go on. Thank you very much, Dami.
Thank you, Dele. We'll come back to that. Okay, I'm sure you'll agree with me that a lot has been said and you need to respond to. You also even alluded in your, where you were responding to my question on why funds are attractive. You mentioned something about ease of onboarding. And I say that the market operators find a way to bring this back to your doorstep to say, have you made it that easy for us? So maybe you want to respond. Let me just wrap it up into one question. What exactly is SEC doing? What collaborations, what are ongoing to improve, monitoring and enforcement on one hand? Are there collaborations with the media, for example? We have said that these people have unfettered access to investors because of their access to media. They have access to influencers. They have money to throw around. What is SEC doing in that space? And then on the flip side, do you also want to tell us what SEC is doing to help capital market licensed capital market operators who want to do a whole lot more, but they are constrained also by tedious regulatory requirements, KYC, piles and piles of it that we have to comply with. I know that a few things have been done, but you agree with me that the ease of onboarding our own clients within the regulated space, there's a wide gap. The ease is not as convenient. So can you take all of this as you answer this question? I know I've thrown in a lot into that basket, but I trust you to pick it out and attend to the question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Damilola. Let me start with the ease of onboarding. Just yesterday, I was in a meeting that the executive management of SEC had with a capital market group. And something came up and they said, they couldn't do this particular thing because of this SEC regulation. And then we pointed out to them that regulation it doesn't stop from doing that. There's an alternative we've provided. And they said, we didn't even know, we didn't look at that rule and things like that. So we find that a lot. What we have done over time is in recent years, is to make things easier. I mentioned earlier that we now have a 3-tier KYC system. And that means that you don't need as much information from investors to onboard them. All it says is that if an investor is investing this quantum of money, you don't need to ask for this, and this. So it makes it easier. So I suggest operators go and look at these, the 3-tier KYC system we have now. You can start off with somebody taking very minimal information. The person starts off. When his investments or her investments get to a particular point, then you now have to take more. But that first bringing the person into into your house, to enter your door should be very easy. So I think that the market can do well to look at that. But also, very importantly, the SEC has set up a FinTech and Innovation Office. The SEC has set up parts of the SEC, has positioned parts of the SEC to make it easier for operators. So if there's something in our rules that is making it difficult for you to onboard people, making it difficult for you to make the onboarding process easier, please mention it to us. Bring it to us. We are open and we want to actually make it easy. I just mentioned betting. I just mentioned some of these funds. We want it to be very easy for people to buy funds, put money in mutual funds. So if there's a bottleneck somewhere, let's know that bottleneck and we can work with you to take care of it. I mean, with CII. That said, the SEC is doing a lot. Yeah, I agree. Did you say something, Dami?
Go ahead. I was going
okay.
To
so
go ahead. When you're done, let me let you
okay,
be.
okay.
I saw a question on question and answer that I wanted to add, but we'll come back to it. Please go ahead.
Okay. So the SEC is doing a lot, engaging stakeholders. Like I told you about the radio adverts I heard, the ones on billboards, the celebrity endorsements, SEC hears all these things. We have started doing things. We have started engaging with APCON, the Advertising Practitioners Association in Nigeria. We have started engaging them. What we want them to do is to allow us vet adverts, just like we do for people for the regulated market. We want to vet any investment-related adverts. That's the first one. So that engagement is on. We are engaging NBC, Nigerian Broadcasting Commission, on the same issue. What we are saying is, if anybody goes to any TV station, any newspaper, any radio station with anything around investments, let's see that thing first. If they are going to sponsor a program or whatever, involve SEC. That's what we're saying. So those engagements are on. We've also engaged Facebook. We've gone to social media. We had a meeting with Facebook, and I can give you a very long list of accounts that Facebook has already blocked based on that engagement. So we're trying on social media also to ensure that these people do not have unfettered access to the media and to people. Apart from that, apart from the media, we're also engaged.
Hello, is it just me? I think we've lost, okay.
I think he has low bandwidth. He's experiencing low bandwidth.
Yeah, must be a network issue.
Okay. Okay. If you can hear us.
We're looking at it for, let me say the enforcement angle. We're working with Nigeria. You has helped us on many occasions. We have many. Hello, did you lose me for some time?
Yes.
Did you lose me?
Yes, we lost you for a bit there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I was saying that we are working with the EFCC, the police, the NFIU for the enforcement part. So we are investigating a lot of these schemes and trying to prosecute them and doing things like that. And we've been closing many of them. The only problem is that as we close one, two spring up, but we will continue to close them. We will continue to close these Ponzi schemes.
So let me ask you.
Yeah.
If do you have a whistleblowing policy, or do you have a reporting process that you can bring to the investors' knowledge? I think you should share with us on this platform. It will be very helpful. I read on the chat and in the Q&A, you have people who are very concerned as well. And if they have platforms where they can bring to SEC's attention some of these lousy schemes, they would love to. So can you quickly tell us about those platforms and how people can bring some of those things to your notice, just to further aid what you're doing at the moment? Thank you.
Just email sec@sec.gov.ng. Email sec@sec.gov.ng. Give us SEC@sec.gov.ng.
Okay.
Just give us the URL of that scheme and we'll look them up. We also are on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, we're on social media. You can also find us there. Once you report anyone, a lot of the ones we have started pursuing now because people reported them. Once you report anyone, we follow up immediately. We have so many that we are working on right now that we are, investigating. Some of them, the promoters have been prosecuted. Some of them have been closed. We're trying to recover assets for investors, but I must warn investors. On the SEC website, you would see a list of capital market operators that are registered with the SEC. There's a list on the website. In fact, the SEC even goes once in a while to even prepare a list of Ponzi schemes. All of them are on SEC websites. So all you need to do as an investor is find out, these people that are telling me this, are they registered with the SEC? Some even lie to the investors that they are registered, but you can find out. Just go to sec.gov.ng and you will see the list. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll still come back to you. There's so many issues, but quickly, Toyi, let me come back to you. So we know that a major attraction to these Ponzi schemes is the returns that they are promised. You know, they are promised significant returns on their investment. And of course, more often than not, these returns are not realistic because they are far away from the market reality. But then, coming back to capital market operators, to fund managers, asset managers, to what extent are we even leveraging are we deepening our offerings such that we can, because some investors have, their risk appetite is high, you know, and typically for us in the market, we have reserved risky investments to qualified investors. And we know that qualified investors exclude the average retail investor out there. So what exactly is the market doing, or should the market be doing to even make offerings available, you know, to retail investors who want to take additional level of risk, who do not want to just sit with our regular mutual funds and all of that? What can the market do to further attract these people and not just leave them at the mercy of the Ponzi operators? Toyin, can you share your thoughts on this?
Okay, thank you very much. You're right about the fact that we have just vanilla products, right? And currently the returns on those products are lukewarm. And even, I mean, you have the fixed income money markets between 4 to 13. You have the equities market currently negative at the moment, although a few sectors are doing okay. So I think a lot more can be done in terms of alternative asset classes. You know, that's what the investors find exciting. You know, things like cryptocurrencies, FX trading, agri funds, commodities, you know, fintech, crowdfunding. So a lot can still be done, but in a regulated way. That's just the thing. Regulating these products, bringing them into the structured sphere, and making them available on a retail scale. Sometimes these the capital level for riskier investments are higher, right? So it excludes all of them. However, I'd like to say this, that are these investors really, do they really have a high risk appetite? Because a lot of times the Ponzi schemes really downplay the risk, which is why they invest. If the Ponzi scheme tells them you have the 80% chance of losing your capital, will they really invest? So they might just not be knowledgeable enough or understand risk enough and not really know their own risk appetite, but think, oh, I'm investing in this, but don't understand the risk. So is it real risk, you know, or is it just uninformed risk that we think, oh, there's a risk appetite for all these products, really? So
I agree, Toyin. Thank you. Yes. So there's just a lot of work to be done. Investor education is important. To what extent are investors even aware of how to measure their own risk appetite? Do people even know? So sometimes someone can think that they are risk averse, but then when they're confronted with the questions that help to profile their risk appetite, they then discover that they are actually maybe bullish and all of that. So I do agree with you. A lot more needs to be done in terms of providing alternative investment to retail investors. So this is a challenge to us as capital market operators. I believe we have you also on the call. Let's deepen our product offerings. Let's widen the offers in the market. And at the same time, let's do a whole lot more in terms of providing investor education. Adironke, let me quickly come to you. There are questions in the chat room. In another 2-3 minutes, once we're done with Adironke answering this question, we'll jump right into some of those. I believe we have even addressed some of those questions already, but we'll just quickly look through to see if there are others that we haven't quite attended to. Dear members of the panel, you can also look through the question and answer session so that you can pick questions that you would readily want to answer, just for us to save time. Adironke, many investors complain of the lack of understanding of even how our traditional investment works. They say we speak a lot of grammar, you know. Toyin was trying to answer my question and she said plain vanilla, alternative investment. You know, a lot of times they complain about these things that you guys think you're talking to yourselves. We don't understand what you're saying. Do you quite agree? If you do, what can we do to, close this gap between the technical end and the investors who would like to know more, but they don't have the patience to go sit with Google to understand and interpret half of what we're saying? Adironke, share your thoughts, please.
Thank you, Dami. Thank you very much. And to be honest, do they really not understand the complexities? And of course, apologies to some of this, to some people in the audience who don't understand what vanilla. Vanilla means ordinary, plain, regular. That's what vanilla means. So don't think it's your regular vanilla ice cream that we're talking about here. I'd like to look at this question more from investor behavior and temperament. Okay, so Warren Buffett, very, very popular name. I mean, when it comes to investments, he said something about not investing in what he doesn't understand. Now, I'd like to also lay credence to something Tony said about when you have headache, you go to the doctor. When you have when you have a court case, you go to a lawyer. So the way to look at this is, whatever it is you don't understand, speak to a professional. You don't understand what PA means at the back of 8%. Oh, please, what does PA mean? Per annum. And of course, I believe that whoever you're talking to will be able to explain what per annum means in the investment parlance. Basically, when the investor behavior is to know and to understand, it then becomes a bit difficult to fall prey to Ponzi schemes. Let us probably look at it from this angle. So you, say for instance, you have headache or you have a cold. You don't just go to the pharmacy, even though, yes, we know in this part we do is of self-education. But I found out that they tell you after, if something persists after 2 days, please consult your doctor. In the same way, I believe that if you probably have been seeing, if something has been proving difficult to understand for a while, I think it's best, or rather, I believe it's best to seek out to know more from an accredited and licensed professional. I think I need to lay emphasis on that. Accredited and licensed professional. There is no investment that doesn't have risk. But what the licensed professional will do for you is help you look at how to mitigate that risk and or reduce it. So in answering this, I think it's more of speak to a professional, no matter how complex it may seem or look. Let a professional that is licensed by the SEC break it down for you. And of course, trust me, if there are red flags, you would see it definitely. And of course, you won't definitely fall prey to it. So for me, it's more of investor behavior and temperament and seeking out to speak to a professional when you find yourself trying to understand the complexities of vanilla investment or plain or regular investments. Thank you.
Thank you, Adironke. Dele, do you want to share any thoughts also on that? Just briefly, quickly, before we take some of the questions on the Q&A. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your questions coming. I see them. We'll address them, especially for those ones that haven't been addressed. Ensure, do not leave your comments in the chat room, but use the Q&A box, to put in your comments. Thank you. Dele, your thoughts on this? What more can we do to bridge the gap?
So I will take it from a communications perspective. I believe the SEC needs to begin to work with the National Communications Commission. And that's because some of these people use the platforms of telecoms providers, social media and all of that to publish what they publish, to attract the public to invest in their schemes. If there's some form of collaboration between the two government agencies, it will help to reduce the access that Ponzi scheme operators have into our market. That's just the thought I want to put across. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, a lot is expected from the SEC? And even from some of the questions here, let's quickly jump into, so you have this person asking about long reach and all of that. So talking about network marketing, these are selling some products, but you keep growing as you invite others into the business. I guess this person wants to know what our opinion is on network marketing. So I would want Okay to answer this because I have a follow-up question to this. Okay, your opinion on this quickly.
Okay, thank you, Damilola. We must separate what is an investment business from what is a company marketing the products that they sell. Where it becomes a problem is where people begin to promise, oh, put in this money, don't do anything, we'll invest it for you and we'll get you this amount of money. So if somebody comes to me and says, sell this pen, I'll sell it to you at 5 naira, you can sell it at 7 naira. That's fine. If somebody comes to me and says he is selling this pen in whatever way he's selling it, and I should invest in the sales of this pen, and he promises me a return of 20%, that is investment. So we must be able to separate the two. Some of these firms that say they do network marketing end up mixing up the two. So many of them who are really Ponzi schemes, I'm not calling names now, but many of them are Ponzi schemes. They present a product to get some legitimacy. So that product is what they claim to be, so are downline or subordinate or whatever they call them, who have to bring in money. And that money is what flows to the person who brought them, who introduced them. Those are Ponzi schemes. So it's very clear. If somebody is selling something to you at a lower amount and you are going to sell it at a higher amount to get the spread, you're marketing something. But if somebody is saying that you should invest so money and go and sit down and then he will do what he's doing and he's returning something to you, that's an investment. He has to come and register at the SEC. So these are very important distinctions. So yes. I'm not going to call names of firms, but we have put some names on our website, and with more information from you, we'll investigate others. And if there are Ponzi schemes, we'll also put them on our website. We have done a bit of, a bit of warnings. We've done warnings in newspapers, I've been to several TV stations to talk about this. Thank you, Dele, for talking about collaboration with NCC. I didn't have the time to mention that we are collaborating with NCC because we believe that if we can block off NBC, the media, the mass media, we can also block off from the NCC, the internet, we'll be able to do it. So these engagements are going on, but these are organizations that are also on their own, they have their own mandates. So we have to make them align. They have to understand what we are saying. Also the CAC, we've been telling CAC whenever somebody comes and in the articles, they are saying they are going to do investment business, ask them to come to us, let them get a no objection or something like that from us. Okay. So those are the things.
Thank you very much, okay, for that response. So back again to investor education, people need to understand what it is that they are going into before they jump right into it. Okay, so let me quickly move to Mr. Akin Adeni, the president of the CIA. So there's a question here that is talking about how do we curb them? So I want you to answer not from the regulator perspective, okay, has tried to address that, but also as a trade group, that stands for market integrity and it's promoting the interest of the market. Several people, so this Babajide Oladimeji is saying that these people claim that they are investment organizations registered by CAC and that even the professionals are too armchaired in our operations, that it must be a holistic approach. What are your thoughts on this? How do you want to address Babajide's concern, especially with regards to market operators being too armchaired in their operations, and of course, by extension, trade groups? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question, Babatunde. From the perspective of a trade group, and by the way, we must also let you know that trade groups in the capital market are also registered by the SEC. So the SEC oversees our activities, our operations, and every other thing. So that, at least, is the first level of legitimacy, very necessary. If you can cast your mind back to my last slide where I listed the stakeholders in the market, you could see starting from government, the regulator, then the trade groups. That's the hierarchy. There's a pattern to the sequencing. So at the level of the trade groups, I also want to gladly inform you that the CIA is doing quite a lot. And what do I mean by this? For authenticity, that is, knowing that whoever you are dealing with as a professional is actually licensed to provide such services, we have our own mechanism. If you go to our website, we've already also developed our own modus operandi. Every investment advisor that you deal with is already registered. First and foremost, must be registered with the SEC. Again, you can't belong to any trade group without being registered by the SEC, first and foremost. So when you come to the website, every advisor that you are working with has a registration code. And I think I can also sell this idea to the SEC. That code is what you input on our website under what we call advisor search. Once you do that, it brings out the name of the advisor, the registration, the full details of the advisor, just so that you know that you are dealing with a professional. That's number one. Number two, of course, this program is part of our activities to always, like I said earlier on, have the opportunity to have the direct feel of the pulse of the investing public. This is a second. We'll have it once in a quarter. And I said earlier on, we've had two that's addressing market development like this topic. I guess the next one will be addressing practitioners' ethics and or whatnot. So membership, in short, membership of the CIA is what you should also look out for. How do we curb them? Now, the third and the final input I want to make, I'll be drawing from Okay's comment and Dele's comment. Oh, sorry, Okay's comment, and I think Dele spoke to that already, and Aderonke as well. And I'm going to be frank, is that operators, whether it's the fund or portfolio manager, whether it's the advisor, we are not doing enough in the area of communication. When you are communicating investment, whether it's performance, whether it's a product, whether it's a strategy, I agree that you have to bring down your jargon. But more importantly, is that the type of information that the investors are looking forward to, they don't get it from the professionals. Put the Ponzi's and the professionals side by side. The first thing that attacks you on the Ponzi is the rate of return. There's no doubt about it. But we have been able to agree here today that they are always outlandish. So coming to the professionals, how many of us show our performance track record? That is where I'm going to say again that I'll be very frank. We are not doing enough. But I can assure you, because I am aware, SEC is doing a lot about that. I'm sure also very soon something's going to come out in that direction. Not only that, there are already rules and regulations addressing that part of our business. Look, you say you are a fund or portfolio manager, but you are not selling your product by the track record. We like to say that past returns do not guarantee future performance. Okay, that's true, but we cannot rule out the fact that all investors, okay, let me say most investors, are performance chasers. If not, Ponzi's would not be, sorry, the public will not be so much attracted to Ponzi's. So we need to look at that very well and see how we're going to upgrade our practice in that direction. Finally, I would also want to appeal to the SEC, because when I mentioned the issue of rules and regulations, something struck me now. And I think I must also have seen it in the chat room. The last time we had a comprehensive rule and regulations update was in 2013. We've had several rules and regulations updates after that, and they have become so confusing that you don't know which one is which. So we need to have a sort of streamlining that you can easily go to the website and know which ones are actually current and effective. Because you know what, you do have draft exposures, and then after the whole processing, they become rule and regulation. So people are having challenges with that. That is where I will leave it for now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, you have challenged the market operators again, and I believe that participants on this call are taking up that challenge. We need to do more to bridge that gap. We need to do more to even sell and communicate what it is that we're selling to these investors in a manner that they can fully understand. We've addressed a number of the questions already in the Q&A, okay, just in 1 minute, can you, so I'm going to string 3 questions into one. Someone said, can you possibly announce all the Ponzi schemes? I think you've talked about that. What is SEC doing to resolve the ones already occurred? Is there any possibility of you helping them to get back their lost funds? And also someone is asking, can the SEC adopt a similar approach, referring to CBN getting banks to suspend the accounts of some of these companies? So someone is thinking SEC should also do something drastic beyond the name and shame that you're already doing on your website. So another person is also still emphasizing the need for regulators to be more proactive. In 1 minute, can you just quickly respond to all of this? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Damilola. SEC is already doing that. We have frozen accounts of many of them. Like I said, the ones that are being investigated and that are being prosecuted, the accounts are frozen. But the thing, by the nature of a Ponzi scheme, by the time you close the accounts, the assets that they have are so small. So for the person asking if he can get his money back, remember that your money has been used to pay the earlier investors. So you see a typical Ponzi scheme, they get 10 billion. By the time you get to them and close the account, they just have 1 billion or 2 billion. So it becomes very difficult for you to return all the money to these people. But I must tell you that SEC has frozen the accounts of many of them and is in the process of resolving these accounts so that money will be paid pro rata to the investors. But if you're an investor in such a scheme, don't expect to get 100% of your money because a lot of the assets have already been paid out or wasted. Let me see. That's the first part of the question. The other one was asking, Dami, please remind me.
Yeah, so was talking about you're doing more that beyond the name and shame,
Yeah, we're already doing much more than that. That's what I was saying. We have secured conviction on 1 or 2 occasions, and we are in court with so many others. We've closed accounts, we've seized assets. We're doing a lot. And it's not us alone. We're working with NFIU, EFCC, the police. So even the judiciary, we're working to make sure, and even the FSRCC. The FSRCC is the Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee. So it's all the regulators in Nigeria, the financial services regulators, insurance, banking, tax, everybody together. We're all working together to ensure we resolve many of these schemes. So some of the schemes you're seeing that the names are even on our website are in the process of being resolved. So that's what's going on. Thank you, the president, for mentioning the thing about using codes. But if you go to our website, go to the CMOS search. It's called Capital Market Operator Search. you see that every single capital market operator that is registered in this country is listed there alphabetically. So if you get a name, and once you start the search, once you just start typing in the name appears. So you see what they are registered for, when they were registered, whether they have a fidelity bond, you get details about them. And if you want to know more, you can actually call us or, send us a message or anything like that. So I think we try to be open to make it easy, but you can also walk into any SEC or any of our zonal offices, Lagos, Kano, Port Harcourt, any of those, walk in there and say you want to know about this company and you'll be attended to, or the Abuja head office. So we are open to these things, and we want whistleblowers to give us information also. So those are the avenues you have, to communicate these things with us.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing this to a close now. It's been a very interesting discourse this morning. Thank you.
Sorry, Damilola.
Okay.
There's actually a question that came in earlier, which I would love for us to address before we could quickly round up, maybe in just 2 minutes. And I hope the sender is also on the call, Fidelis Ubo. He has 2 questions, blah, blah, blah. Okay, how can we address the challenge of Ponzi schemes? I think I already addressed this in my last response. How can the CIIN reverse this ugly trend? Okay. The second question is, what is the status of CIIN and SEC? Okay, I think I already spoke to that as well.
You have addressed it.
Yes, I have. So the third one, I don't know the sender. It says, does CIA have a training program that will develop the market operators and our members entitled to discount? Oh, okay, fantastic. I hope this sender is also on the call. If you recall as well from the beginning, I said our ATH, this session is about 2 things, market development and praxis development. So for now, as a trade group, we do not formally offer training, but our practice development meetings like this is actually to provide very beneficial capacity building for members of the association. And we have membership in 2 categories. There's affiliate and there's a regular or full membership. So that means once you're a member, you have access to all forms of capacity building that the association has. You do not have to be paying for training here and there. So I'll give you an instance. Maybe the next one, like I said, we're actually going to have, it's going to be more like a fireside chat that's going to address very technical aspect of investment advisory. And so once you're a member, you can attend. But additional benefit there is that we make it open to the public, right? Because what we preach is what? Transparency. We have an acronym. The theme of our investor protection operations is called STEPS, S-T-E-P-S. Once you go onto our website, you see the full meaning of the acronym. S stands for standardization of our processes. We cannot overemphasize that. T is about transparency. E is about eschewing conflict of interests, all right? And then P is about professionalism. The last S is about sanctions, because as a member of our association, if you fall foul of the regulations or the ethics of advisory, of course, we will do the needful and we will present you, of course, to the SEC to deal with. So steps, very important. For the asker of that question, I will encourage you to find a way of becoming part of the CIA. We are building a new advisory force, and that is our objective. By God's grace, we'll get there. Thank you very much. Damilola, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to take final words from dear panelists this morning. What are your final thoughts? Striking what that you want to leave the participants with? What is your pattern message? And we'll take that. I will start with my wonderful ladies on this panel. Toyin, can we start from you?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been a very interesting session. So I believe that the Ponzi pandemic, has to be addressed from both the perpetrators and the investors. So investor engagement is very important, financial intelligence programs. We also need to have a red flag campaign, right? And I think that would help address the testimony traps that people fall for in the industry. And then, of course, the final thing I'll say is that there needs to be more innovation and creativity in the industry, and more rules and regulations to bring these exciting products into the regulated sphere. Thank you.
Thank you, Toyin, for that. Adironke, quickly over to you. Parting word.
Thank you very much, Toyin and it's been very interesting to hear some things that the SEC is doing. Very interesting. But for me, on the parting note, also. And to all stakeholders, first and foremost, to the investing public, please don't be greedy. Please, don't be greedy. It all starts from the behavior. Once greed is in the picture, you generally fall for any scam out there. Also, for me, I would also like to look at it from from other stakeholders now, government, regulator, education. We need to educate the public as much as possible. It's funny to hear that most people that fall for these scams are actually educated. So it means that we can actually overflow the issue of education. If we need to go as far as secondary schools, I think we need to so that everybody understands and knows what financial literacy is about. The NOA is there, the National Ocean Agency can help us here, grassroots. I heard when Oki talked about listening to different Ponzi adverts on radio as he moved from state to state. I think the NOA has to come in here to help us begin to sensitize the public on what exactly these schemes are about. So I think on that note, I'd like to say thank you.
Thank you very much, Adironke, for that. Dele, can we hear from you?
Yes, I'd like to say a big kudos to CIIA for organizing this webinar. It throws up a lot of issues and addresses a lot of issues as well. The things I would like to leave as take-home messages for us is that from a DeFi perspective and from an operator perspective, I think we need to increase digitization of the fund management industry. Because people want the democracy of investment, which means that means that you can do your investments on your phones or smartphones, online and so on. That is already obtainable in the banks. It's for us fund managers to increase, our own investment in that space. I urge the investors in the industry to please do their due diligence on the investment and the promoters of the investments that they get into. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who ends up with the tears if you haven't done your due diligence. And then finally, this again goes to fund managers. I see that there is a gap in our penetration in the industry. Okay, alluded to the fact that he was driving interstate and, from one state to another, all he could hear was Ponzi scheme after Ponzi scheme on the radio being advertised. But the fact is, fund managers are concentrated in the big cities, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, and all the spaces in between are unserved. People have investment needs, but we're not paying attention to that. And so they fall into the hands of Ponzi scheme operators. So thank you. Those are my takeaway points. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dele. And of course, okay, it will be nice to hear from you. What comfort are you leaving us with as we round up this session this morning?
Yeah, the comfort is that the SEC won't sleep, and we've warned these operators of Ponzi schemes. We are not going to relent. We are going to keep pursuing them, getting them, closing them, prosecuting them. So that's the word for them. If there's any of them here or anyone that knows them, tell them that will be what SEC will continue to do. But I appeal to investors, to Nigerians, to please patronize the registered operators. These guys have the skills, they have everything you need, and they can guide you, they can advise you. So that's where I live. And I want to encourage CIIA to continue to organize investment advisors in the country and to continue to organize programs like this that educate people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You've been wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause to my esteemed members of panel. A virtual applause would be fine. Thank you very much. You've brought your A game to the table this morning, and the conversations have been very, very interesting. I do believe that our participants have had a great time of interaction, and they are better informed, and we will be able to contribute our quota, to plug in this ill. Allow me now to hand you over to our Executive Secretary, Michael Abiodun Thomas of the CIIA, as he rounds up this event. Michael, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Damilola. And I want to say again, on behalf of the CIIA, we want to thank our panelists. You will agree with me, we've had a very robust session. Let me start with the participants who have joined and have actively participated. I've been reading through the chat comments, the question, quite engaging. We only wish we had more time. We'll have had more exciting ways to clarify your questions. And please, participants, do not forget, you can go to the website, you can leave us a message, you would find our phone numbers there, our emails. We are happy to engage with you. For those who are also interested in the association, this is a great opportunity to become more financially intelligent. To our panelists, I want to thank Toyin Kekere-Ekun. Thank you for making out the time, for accepting this invitation and doing an excellent job. Thank you very much, ma'am. We're grateful to have you on this. We do hope that future invitations will be honored as this was. Thank you so much. To Dele Ige, thank you very much for making our time to be here. Your contributions are extremely, very, very valuable. And we thank you for being a part of this. I want to thank Aderunke Osho as well. Thank you so much. You heard what she said clearly. Do not be greedy investors. That's a very tough thing to do for us in the face of rising inflation. And thank you so much for those brilliant ones. We really thank you. And our dear beloved Mr. Oke Umenu, thank you so much. Reaching you was very, very easy. You're very accessible. You're pleasant and excellent gentleman, and your contributions are invaluable. We take your feedback and we take your very comforting word that the regulators will look out and continue to protect the investing public against fraudulent Ponzi schemes that are rising every day. Thank you so much. I think on this note, we'll say have a good day. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we're grateful on behalf of the CIIA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, members of the panel. Please pose for a screenshot photograph. That's how we take events virtually now. That's how we take pictures at events now. Please put on your cameras and smile so that we can keep this as a memoir. Thank you. Okay, can we see your face?
Let's see your face.
Then. Great. Thank you. Can we all say cheese?
Cheese.
Okay, I think I got that. Thank you, and bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice weekend, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Aki. Thank you, Okay. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Ronke. And thank you, Damilola.
Okay.
Okay. Very well done, everybody. Michael, that was very good. Dele, excellent, excellent, excellent. Madam Toyin. Oh, okay. I didn't get already dropped off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I thought I was muted. Oh, that was quite good. Yeah, very, very good, very excellent. I can say beyond my expectation. Well, I wasn't expecting anything less. We've always had excellent, 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 excellent people. And I've always also known that we have more work to do. We have more work to do. I want to just ask everybody to try and get a copy of that 10-year strategic plan. If you have not seen it and digest it, you will see that it entails a lot of things that we can do in concert, not pushing responsibility to maybe the regulator alone, the operators alone, and so on and so forth. We need to do a lot of work. It is. I'm looking for the right word. It's almost a crime that our capital market is below 30% of our total GDP. It is, and I keep agonizing over this almost at every forum I'm invited to. Okay, I said it all, and Dele also said it, that if you can be doing interstate travels and all you can hear is Ponzi advert, then what are we experts doing? What are we professionals doing? You know, for somebody like me who has done almost 32 years in the industry, and we are still where we are, it's almost frustrating.